Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be each and every Sunday night. Where tonight we're coming to you live and exclusive on Top Split TV for the final round of season 12 of the Sunday Night. Season 12. It's round 12, season 18 of the Sunday Night Lights. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, big night for the final round here from the new layout at Silverstone. Yeah, great to see Simon back out on track with us. Been absent for a few weeks. Great UK&I representative. He's had the toughest of tough luck when he's joined us here on Sunday Night Lights. But tonight, back into the 4,000s for the strength of field, and Simon looking to get in amongst it once again, lending his weight to that, along with the Red Face Racing boys who have dominated this season, of course, with Gourlay and O'Fray, the 2 and 3 cars. Leading ANZ driver here tonight, at least in terms of the seedings, is once again Mr. Tim Gorcroch, relegated, as we might say, to the 4 car. Not often he'd rock up to a race, I wouldn't think, expecting to be the 4 car out there, Corey. Let's be great to see what he can do out here tonight.
The broadcast here,
They
Alex.
can now, mate.
They can now. Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what he can do with such a high strength of field compared to what we're used to seeing lately.
Yeah, look, the skippers this season have been winding down somewhat, the strength of field representative of that, but this 17 car field here tonight will put on a great show, no doubt, as I said, get back over the 4K mark, which is getting tougher to do in the skip barbers, but particularly towards the tail end of the season. But another driver out there tonight lending his weight to the field is Mr. Lee Anderson. He's been here quite regularly with us this season. Great to see him back out there. Anthony Catt as well, his UK&I compatriot. I've got to tell you, they've been hard to separate on the track, but Catt really had a strong season in Sunday Night Lights, really starting to push his way towards the front of the field. Witten, once again, one of the leading Aussies in there in terms of pace, hopefully getting some results on the board. And Christian Kabanka, Breaking Bad Motorsports, joining us once again all the way from the US in at ridiculous o'clock in the morning for him. Thank you to Christian for getting up bright and early to finish out the season with us here, Corey.
Yeah, it's great to see Christian on track, especially considering what god-awful time of the morning it must be for him over there. And he's a very quick skippy driver. It'd be interesting to see what he can do on this track. But I'm also going to be having some eyes on some of these unknown names that we can see in the drivers list here, like Giuseppe Tellini. We've seen him a couple of times, but we still don't know him well enough this season, at the very least, to make a proper assumption on how he can drive around here. There's also names such as Dan Schuring and Kupo Vitain, as the names just go crazy for me on the drivers list, as everyone's starting to knock in some laps. Julian Alfray, so far the pace setter at the moment, Alex.
Simon Edwards just pipping in with a 227.2 by the slimmest of margins. In fact, 5/1000ths of a second. Say that 5 times really quickly and see how you go. But the number one plated car taking the provisional pole after the first of 2 flying laps around here. Around the 2.5 minute mark means it's all stations go to get around here in time to land your 2 fast laps. And of course, the second lap with this new tyre model is the one that everyone is dying to do, because if you get that one in, it is significantly faster than both the out and warm up laps, Corey. And the cars seem to get better and better as they run through the race generally, right?
That's exactly right. And a lot of people this season have been experiencing that little bit of a glitch, especially early on in the season, where you can't actually access the garage to change your fuel level. So a lot of the people are still a little bit worried about that and still running their race fuel here in qualifying, which means that we could see some absolutely fantastical times here in the race. But another little note of worthiness here is the 12 car of Ben Furhoff sneaking his way up to P3 already on the first lap. Be interesting to see what he can do for a second lap here, Alex.
Yeah, he and his teammate Luke Whitten representing Team Milo looking to lock out the second row on the grid. And the other thing you mentioned, fuel here. Again, we're doing 12 laps around here, and the talk of the town's been fuel because struggle to make it there. I know I ran 15 litres here on occasion when I've had to race here in the skips because it just feels like there's that one lap too many for the standard 11 litres. So, look, the guys out there will be toying with that, and particularly, with the fuel bug, you don't want to change it. You're qualifying 15 litres potentially, running the risk. So, anyway, we'll see what happens as these guys start to round out their second laps now, as we're coming to the closing stages of quali with Cat now as he's coming through that final section on the track, rounding the final corner there, coming across to cross in. What sort of time has he got here? Has he improved? Oh, it's Furhoff actually jumping to the top of the pops. Oh, and he's exited stage left. Gorkrotcher now. Oh, I'll tell you what, everyone's jumping around everywhere. Gorkrotcher with a fantastic, a 225.9. He's pipped Edwards, O'Fray and Furhoff. Cat, and look, the top 9 drivers separated by less than a second, Corey, as the clock ticks down. And looks like everyone has done everything they're going to do. Let's go check out our grid for this 12-lap race here at Silverstone tonight to round out our season. Tim Gorkrotch for Top Split Racing has grabbed pole here tonight. Not the first time I think he's done that either this season. Simon Edwards from UK and I rejoining us here, as we said, grabbing second spot on the grid. P3 tonight went to Julian O'Fray for Redface Racing. Look for him to be right up in amongst it. First Team Milo, second ANZ driver, car plate number 12. Starting from P4 is Ben Furhoff, Anthony Cat, second UK and I driver in P5. Korpo Vitanen from Finland in P6. Luke Whitten for the second Team Milo driver in P7. Lee Anderson from UK and I in P8. P9, Breaking Brad Motorsports, Christian Kabanka, Kevin Henderson, UK. Australian stalwart of Skippy Racing in P10. P11 went to the Cowboy. Hot off his podium from last week's race at Sebring for Team Ovaltine, Giuseppe Tellini from Italy in P12 as we go over the page. Sasha Gourlay, surprisingly, must have bombed his second lap for Redface Racing Team in P13. Look for him to be coming through the field. Samuel Collins from ANZ in P14. Dan Schuring in P15. Team of Escalapi failing to set a time in P16. And Victor Osset from Iberia, the lone Iberian in P17. Strength of field 4,028. Track temp, the all-important temperature of 24 degrees as the boys line up on the track. And I might hide the grid now as we get ready to go racing. See if we can't find a decent camera angle to start
The
this
race starts.
Thank you, Sodi. Good to know that the race is about to commence. That's probably a better camera angle. As the guys start thinking about revving their engines with just the 5 seconds remaining, I think Victor Osset might have left the server and left the boys standing on the grid as the flag marshal looks to take his position. The red lights mean rev. The green lights mean go, and we are away on the first of 12 laps around the famous Silverstone, the updated Silverstone circuit here for our second time as we enjoy the new Skippy layout, or the new layout for Silverstone for the second time, as the guys now start heading down through the first sector of the track, through Island, down into Arena now. It's very tricky here on cold tyres as well. It's very flat. It's an old airfield, of course, like so many tracks we visit from time to time. And it means no camber, very slippery on the skips early on, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex, and it's already caught a couple of people out. Anthony Cat, after starting from P6, is buried deep in the pack, somewhere around the 11th position. I also see Sasha Gourlay just behind him, getting a little bit sideways as I was coming through the loop on their way to Wellington Straight. These guys throwing everything at it at the moment. I can see a orange and black car there without his nose cone. I think that is the 8th Christian Kambanka, actually, Alex.
Yeah, it is. He is sans the front half of his car and probably looking to grab an early pit stop as we go past the old start-finish line now. On the old pit straight into Cops. Oh, 2x2 up the front through Cops. First time round is quite impressive, I have to say, as they hit the run down to Maggots and Beckett's for the first time round. Very tricky part of the circuit early on. Later stages, you're really looking to hang on to fourth gear as long as you can. Down finally now through Beckett's onto the Chapel onto the hanger straight for the first time round, and it's Edwards leading the way so far. He's half second on the 2x2. Gorkrotcher and Furhoff now coming up the inside into Stowe for the first time round. Can they make it work? Furhoff now up the inside of O'Fray, which leaves O'Fray. Yeah, they're going to go line astern and get through there towards that final chicane at Vale to round out the closing stages of lap 1, Corey.
And now they're making their way through Club, and these guys are definitely starting to throw the kitchen sink at it. Everything is on the line, especially between the two red-faced racing boys. They've been so dominant. The points are only separated by not very much at all. And I think I just seen someone spinning in the background there, Alex.
Yeah, I'm trying to find someone dropping, but I do not see it on my telemetry. I think we've got everyone still relatively in place. But the guys now starting to get around on this second of 12 laps, as we say. Leading out the way is Simon Edwards, followed by Gorkrotcher Furhoff. Great to see two Aussies, two ANZ drivers in the podium positions early on, with O'Fray and Witten rounding out your top 5. 3 of the top 5 Aussie ANZ club members. Fantastic start to this race. Hopefully things can continue to unfold the local boys' ways, Corey.
Well, we can only hope here, Alex, but at the moment it's going to be very hard to knock Simon Edwards off of the top step at the moment. 69.53 driver there in the iRating standings, and he's definitely going to be looking at getting the home pride here and winning at Silverstone. But with Tim Gorkrotcher right behind him, that's still going to be a tough task for the local drivers.
Yeah, it's still quite a draft-heavy track, of course. GP layout, so long straights to stretch the legs of these skippies as they head past the old start-finish line once again. And out through Cops this time, heading up towards the Maggots-Beckett's complex now, all tucked right up underneath his tailpipe of Gorkrotcher is Furhoff once again. O'Fray looking to bide his time with the second team Milo car of Luke Witten sitting in P5 behind him. Gorkrotcher looking a little bit loose there, it has to be said, through Beckett's now as they head down to Chapel, and that long run down the hanger straight once again. Furhoff pulling out of the draft very early there. A little bit of blinky bill from O'Fray. Hopefully not too unsettling for the guys. As side by side does Furhoff and Gorkrotcher go down at the end of the hanger straight into Stowe once again. Lovely lean on the cars. Beautiful camera angle that time through. Got to be careful around these sections, easily picking up incident points and racking them up, and also the deadly slowdowns around here will ruin your race in a heartbeat, Corey.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As we had a little bit of contact there coming into the club section between Edwards and Gorkrotcher. Timmy G going a little bit deep into the brakes, just giving a little bit of a tap to Simon there. But I think what's going on here, Alex, is that we've got a fairly low track temp, only 24 degrees. So these tyre temps are probably taking a little bit longer to come up than what the guys are used to running from throughout the week. But nevertheless, these guys at the front are putting on a fantastic show right now as Furhoff looking around the outside of Gorkrotcher as we're heading through Village towards the loop. And these guys are definitely laying it all on the line right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're almost within draft all the way down to Gourlay now, who's up plenty. He's up 5 positions, only bettered by Timo Vascalampi sitting somewhat just behind, about 1.5 seconds behind. He's up 7 positions. But other than that, it's pretty run-of-the-mill. Cat, the only one, as you said, dropped a bit early. Whoa, what's going on there? I think that must have been Furhoff dropping like a stone. Let's go grab a replay of that, as I was looking at telemetry rather than what happened. I'm reckoning he must have picked up a slowdown. Yeah, it looks like. Let's go grab that again. Heading around the early stages of the lap there. I'm just looking for where he's going to pick up the slowdown. Yeah, look, he's cut there. He's heading up that first long straight. And just as he... Just trying to see. Yeah, he's pulling out. He must have picked up the slowdown. But, oh, look at the car's dodgy. Oh, and he's not holding his line. I don't know what he's doing there, but he's now sitting at the back of the field and in the pits and out of this race competitive. So competitively speaking, at least. And what that does mean is that Edwards is now at the front. O'Fray and Witten are the closest, and Witten's really just hanging on by the skin of his teeth to that draft before it becomes just a 3-horse race up front, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. But with these very long straights that would usually be DRS straights for the Formula One cars, it's going to provide a little bit of assistance there for Witten to try and close up the gap a little bit. But I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to hold on. It's going to be a tall task to ask of him, as we're heading to the club section again for the third time in this race. These guys. I can't say it enough. They're putting everything on the line, but it looks like we're going to be ending up with 2 groups here, one of 3 and one of 4. It's just whether Luke's going to go with the front pack or the back pack here, Alex.
Yeah, he was out there at almost 1.5 seconds. He's now back to 1.2. He's got his own little train of drivers in Anderson, Gourlay and Cat sticking with him there, just behind him. And word from the pits is that the grumpy monkey, Mr. Ben Furhoff, he lost an engine in the early stages of this race. Unbelievable to think you could blow an engine up, and it sounds like it was in a straight line too. Normally you can quickly downshift, particularly in the later stages of this race when you've been sitting in draft for lap after lap, and you can blow an engine, but I've not heard one go on a straight, Corey. Not something in my experience, at least.
No, that's not something that I could say that I've experienced either, Alex. He might have picked up a little bit of plastic or something in the side pods there where the airflow comes through to cool down the engine. Apart from that, he might have gotten a little bit of a tap from behind, which maybe unsettled the engine cover a little bit, affecting the airflow through that compartment. But so yeah, that's very unlucky news there for Ben. That'll be his race pretty much done. He'll have to wait on the fast repair if he sticks around. But even then, that's going to severely hamper his chances here in this race, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Witten now has come... Oh, he was momentarily in the draft, and then he's fallen out of it again, leaving us with a front pack of 3. But he's still got Gourlay, Anderson and Cat tucked right in behind each other, and right in behind him, just over 7.5 tenths. But this front 3, look at Witten just tucked in behind there. He's really struggling to get back onto this front 3, led by Gorecrotcher with Edwards and O'Fray. And, these guys are all sort of going line astern, not battling too hard, although we do see O'Fray now pulling out to the inside as he comes down the end of the hangar straight into Stowe on the mid to late stages of lap 4. Another 8 to go when they cross the... Oh, that'll be a big incident point, but no, hopefully no slowdown for O'Fray there on the exit of Stowe as they come down into Vale on that tail end of lap 4, as we said. And it looks like Witten, again, he's so great under brakes, close to 1.5 to 2 tenths under brakes there as he heads through club to finish out lap number 4, and he might finish out within draft range, Corey.
Yeah, I think the whole issue right now is that he's getting in on the brakes so well that it might be affecting his exit a little bit here. Therefore, in a straight line, he'll lose that little bit of speed and momentum, but he is closing right up to these guys under brakes and even pulling away from that second group as well while they're braking. So it'll be very interesting to see if he can maybe use that to his advantage and stick with these guys. He's right on their tail at the moment as we are coming through the Aintree onto the Wellington Straight. It'll be interesting to see whether he can, in fact, keep up with this draft and whether he can pull away from Gourlay sitting there in 5th, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. He's all but done that. Gourlay sitting in behind as Witten takes the title on and pulls right up in behind. He's well and truly in this now. Lead pack of 4, some 1.2 seconds. Luke using that, Witten using that draft to full effect and dropping these other guys. The next battle, if it's for P8 here now with Vascalampi and Devantia sitting in 8th and 9th respectively. They got a gap over Giuseppe Tellini there in P10, who is having a battle with Kabanka, who is still sans front nose cone. The Tootsies will be a little on the cold side, but he's battling it out for P11 there with Tellini and Collins. Dan Shuring just sitting on the back there. Henderson, he's down 4 positions. Hasn't been through the pits, so might have had an early excursion or an early slowdown down in 14th. Vitanen in 15th. Osset did end up joining us, but he is a long way off the pace. Of course, Furhoff still in the pits, our only retirement, as we jump back up front. And we do still have a front pack of 4. And Witten, look, after covering all that ground, or recovering, looks like he might be struggling, almost bringing in that second pack behind this leading pack of 4, Corey.
Well, that could be a part of Luke's master plan here, Alex. You know, he'll probably have a better chance of battling for this lead if he pulls the second pack up and, you know, allows them to cause a little bit of a ruckus at the front there. Because Luke is ever the opportunist, and, you know, he'll be looking for any advantage he can get, and whether that's bringing up the second pack so they can cause some havoc with the front 3 guys, and, you know, him sneaking through and getting a Bradby, then, you know, that's exactly what he's going to try and do to get the advantage.
Yeah, as we cross the line now, we've been on to the start of lap 6, going through the opening stages. Now we've got Gorecrotcher leading the way with O'Fray, Edwards and Witten all in that front. Witten well and truly in the front pack now, and they have got a 1.4 second lead as the wide entry. Nice tight apex for Witten again through the arena there, out onto the National Straight once again for the early stages of lap 6. And look at that red face racing car in the distance, busting to bridge that gap, although he is now 1.6 seconds behind as we see O'Fray make a move for the lead at the end of the National Straight. Gets it done. Gorecrotcher leaving plenty of room as he saves his defence for the later stage of the race, potentially. You got Edwards and Witten behind, and of course he's not wanting to slow these guys down, because otherwise a battle of 4 becomes a battle of 8 pretty quickly as they go past the old start finish line, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And these guys, if they're race savvy here, they'll be willing to play the leapfrog game to try and extend this group of 4 as far away from Sasha as they can. Sasha, as we know, quite the accomplished and very quick driver. He'll be working his butt off to try and get up to these guys. As we're going through the Maggots and Beggets session now, these guys are absolutely on edge. You can see them just tipping the car out slightly sideways on the edge of control as we're coming along the hangar straight now. These guys are just absolutely trying to nail every single apex they can, as we see another overtake for the lead in the progress here, Alex, between Tim Gorecrotcher and Julian Alfray.
Yeah, coming down and start the end of the hangar straight. Oh, as we see a really a heavy load of speed carried through that Stowe corner there by Gorecrotcher that time round. These guys are working hard. They are now 1.8 seconds ahead of that chasing group, and that leapfrog working really effectively for them. Plus, of course, the pace they inherently bring to the party. Anthony Catnow on the front of that second pack with Gourlay some 2 tenths behind, and Anderson a further 4 tenths behind there. These guys desperately hoping the guys up front battle to help them bridge that gap as we go through through Cops this time now, back out through Maggots and Beckett's complex. Lovely flowing, but as you say, it's interesting. You can see the cars leaning on the outside tyres because, like we said, this is such a flat circuit that no camber, and I beg your pardon, that was the new start-finish straight, and we are through the arena now, out onto the National Straight. I tell you what, these camera angles aren't helping me with the corners and where we are located, but these guys certainly know where they are, and they're putting on a great show, Corey.
That's exactly right, Alex, and at the end of the day, that's all we can expect from these guys. But in saying that, I am surprised that Julian Alfray did not try and go for the overtake there. Coming into Brooklands. Very surprising indeed, but it looks like he's trying to get a nose up just very slightly on Gorecrotcher there. Not quite able to do it as they were coming out of Luffield. So these guys are just looking like they're starting to battle it out a little bit here, Alex. I mean, we're halfway through the race. this is when everyone will be starting to think about their game plan for the rest of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. They have been past the old pit straight now, gone through Cops. This time they're going through Maggots and Beckett's, and Lineston they go as Gorkrocher leads him for the mid stages. Lap 7 of 12 here tonight. Now coming up to run down the hanger straight once more. Third gear through the tight right-hander, entering onto the hanger straight. Flat out once you're out there, of course, and the long run down into Stowe. Possibly your best fast passing opportunity, but it is a hairy one too, as you drop down to fourth in the braking zone, third in the mid-corner. Look, closing up under brakes is Edwards through the mid run there. Of course, this is home track here, and running through Stowe, carrying all that speed, showing the benefits of no doubt many a lap around here in practice, Corey.
Well, you'd hope that he had many laps of practice around both this version and the older version of Silverstone, being that this is his local track. I mean, same could be said for us and Bathurst, and well, we definitely have a lot of Bathurst experience. But these guys are, they're still fighting it out pretty hard at the moment. Gorkrocher not looking like he wants to go up the lead just yet. I think he might be trying to tempt Alfred into waiting until the second last lap to get his overtake made. So that way Timmy G can have the advantage going into the final lap. And see Gorkrocher there getting a little bit defensive as they're coming through the arena and onto the Wellington straight. I think as I said, I think he might just be wanting to try and hold on to this lead at the moment, Alex, and see what he can make of it leading from the front.
Well, they have got a over 2-second lead now, as we see O'Fray, I beg your pardon, is Gourlay's teammate. Take the inside, running into Brooklands now, and really Gorkrocher not making any trouble for him there as they come through Luffield and onto the old pit straight. Still, your mind races to how many times you've tried to gazump your opponent through this section of the track. This is the old start-finish straight. You can still see the markings on the track there, and it's Gorkrocher not looking to attack through the old first corner. Of course, he's through Cops. He's now just looking to perhaps wait for the run down the hanger straight. Once again, they're probably the best passing opportunities. They come through Maggots and Beckett's once again, Corey.
Well, it is probably the best opportunity, especially with the exit coming into Stowe. But these guys will generally be looking for little bits of moves here and everywhere. Gorkrocher will be trying to maybe pressure Alfred into making a bit more of a mistake than what he would usually be inclined to, and maybe try and drop Alfred back down deeper into the pack rather than just putting him back to second, as we can see him do here now. But this is where all the mind games will be starting to get played right now, Alex. It's all about whether you can see them or whether you cannot see them in the mirrors. And those little games, they can certainly play on a driver's mind if you're not paying attention to the racing here a little bit.
Yeah, closing out the last stages, lap 8 as they cross the line to begin. Lap 9 or 12, just the 4 remaining as they cross the line this time. And Gorkrocher getting it done down the hanger straight as we suspected, and leading them out once again. As you see, Edwards and O'Fray with Witten tucked into P4. They've got now a 3-second gap over the chasing pack that includes Anthony Catt, the Redface Racing teammate of Julian O'Fray and Sasha Gourlay, tucked in behind him with Anderson rounding out that little battle of 3. Vascalampi and Devantia continue their battle for P8 and 9, as does Kavanka. Henderson now bridged the gap. He's up into P11 with a nice battle of 5 cars going on here. And it's Vitanen and Shearing going side by side through the arena and out onto the National Straight, with Collins rounding out that battle at pack of 5 cars. As we jump back up to the front, we still have Gorkrocher leading him out, and this is where the guys will be testing out the strategies in their head. Where can we go? What can we do to get this done around here tonight? So I try and figure out why my cameras aren't working as expected, Corey.
Well, one thing that we do have to also watch for, Alex, is coming onto that old pit straight, coming through Woodcote. You know, you can run all the way up to that inside wall with little risk of a slowdown. So one thing that these guys will be trying to do is get as close to that pit wall as they possibly can, which means that we've got to watch for maybe someone going a little bit too close to the wall and maybe net coding off it and causing themselves a bit of a drama there. But coming onto the hangar straight, it looks like Gorecrotcher has built up a small amount of a lead here over our Frey, which is going to make it very hard for our Frey to challenge him coming into Stowe. So at the moment, it looks like Gorecrotcher just comfortably leading away, but still looking very loose as he's coming through Stowe, working those back tires for everything they're worth. And now Simon Edwards is trying to make the overtake on our Frey coming into club. It's all starting to go off here, Alex.
Sure is. As you say, it looked like Gorkrotch had enough to certainly avoid the leapfrog, but it was Edwards putting all the pressure on the back of Frey there, as we see Frey now looking up the inside of the old turn one, and for the first time we see a move made through there, and it's getting very tight here. These guys starting to think about getting racy as the laps start to wind down, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. I got to correct it. That was the new front straight as we're heading through the arena section now, which consists of the loop and Aintree onto the Wellington Straight or the National Straight, whichever poison you prefer. It looks like right now, though, our Frey has got a little bit of a gap over Gorecrotcher. Not sure whether Gorecrotcher is going to be able to try and make the move here as they are coming into Brooklands. But it looks like our Frey is starting to go a little bit defensive. So it looks like he might be wanting to try and hold on to the lead at the moment, Alex, with just 2.5 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, look, they're coming through now into the final stages of the old layout, and Edwards is really starting to look pretty racy on the tail end of whoever's in second place. This time round, it's Gorecrotcher, and perhaps that move into the early stages of the last lap there was brought on about by the pressure of Edwards on the tailpipe of Frey, and that made him decide to move a little bit further forward. But I tell you, Witten there biding his time in P4. He'll be another one to watch. But again, great to see we've got 2 out of the top 4 of this front pack from the local ANZ club, Corey.
And to extend on that a little bit, Alex, we got 2 of the top 6 in the UK and I Club as well. So some great local representation for the track here as well. And with us being in the Commonwealth of England, it certainly means some great things here for our little country and connected countries. But at the moment, Gorecrotcher around the outside takes the lead back with authority from Julian Alfrey, and that's going to make Simon get a little bit racy here as well. But Luke Witten getting racy as they're coming into the club section, looking around the outside of Simon Edwards. That's not a place where you usually get an outside overtake, Alex.
Rounding out the final stages of the lap now, and through Brooklands, and then coming out onto oh, excuse me, I'm getting it wrong again, through club now, coming through to round out and then begin lap 11 as we go through turn 1 now. It is these 2 out in front of Gorecrotcher and O'Fray. A little bit of gap then back to Edwards, still well within drive. Oh, but look at the sideways action of Edwards and Witten in behind. These 2 are not playing at it. They are starting to play for sheep stations, as we've got less than 2 laps to go as they run through the arena once again on the run out to the National Straight. These guys are starting to get busy, Corey.
Indeed they are, Alex, and they're definitely turning up the heat in every which way they can. Frey looking like he's going to try and go for a move here on the inside of Gorecrotcher at Brooklands. Of course, Brooklands named for the old Brooklands circuit that was the first GP track in the UK. And he gets the move made quite easily now as they're coming through left field to head onto the old pit straight area. It's all going to be on Gorecrotcher here to try and figure out where's the best place to make a move, whether he tries to go for the overtake on this lap, whether he waits until the late stages of the last lap here, Alex.
Yeah, Edwards now looking to try and find every gasp he can of draft, I should say, as they come through the old start finish line and through Cops there on the run down to Maggots, and it looks like those guys at this stage are almost battling for third, as the front two now out to half-second lead, with a Frey and Gorkrocher really looking to trade blows for the top step on the dais for the final lap, Corey.
Well, as we were saying, Alex, this is where they're starting to really turn up the temperature and drive each other really hard, and this is why they're getting this little bit of a gap. Looks like Luke Witten actually maybe getting a slowdown there coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Our Frey also slowing down, possibly with a slowdown as well going through Maggots and Beckett's. It is all just kicking off here right now, Alex. That's going to be Timmy Gorkrocher in the lead with Simon Edwards in P2.
Oh, look at Witten dropping like a stone. Can he stay ahead of that trailing pack? No, he can't. They are well and truly in the draft, but O'Fray also copying a slowdown there. He's now some two, and he's may himself not have cleared that slowdown yet, and still dropping like a stone. He might be in threat of making a battle, a 5 or 6 way battle for the final step on the podium, as Gorkrocher starting to try and skip away. Edwards, the best UK and I's got to offer. Can he bridge that gap? It's about 7/10 as we start the last lap. What's going on behind them? O'Fray 2.2 seconds, a further 1.5 to Witten, who has now 3 hard charging cars. Oh, I'll tell you what, Gourlay right up the tailpipe of Cat as they head through arena now. And, I'll tell you what, Witten's got his work cut out for him, but Gorkrocher is now flying out in front. He's got Edwards some 8/10 behind him, but it looks at this stage, about halfway through the final lap, that it's Gorkrocher's race to lose, Corey.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right here, Alex. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch Gorkrocher from here. So all the action is on for 4th place. Luke Witten getting absolutely hounded by Anthony Catt and by Sasha Gourlay here as they're coming through the Luffield section onto the old pit straight. These guys smell blood in the water with the drop of our Frey and Witten, and now it's all on for the 4th position, as I think I just heard Anthony Catt get a little bit of a net code there on that inside pit wall, Alex.
Yeah, he's all right, though. Side by side, they go through Cops now. He is, I'll tell you what, they're going to make it hard for themselves to catch Witten. They're pretty close. So they're about to go 3 wide as Cat looks up the inside of Gourlay, thinks better of it as they go through Maggots and Beckett's now. Can he do the over-under? Can he get it done through Chapel and out onto the hanger straight? No. I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting down there towards the end of this straight. I'll tell you what, up front though, it looks like Gorkrocher's going to dominate this finish. Not enough in the draft there. As we see Cat forced to the outside by Gourlay. Witten hanging on there. Oh, it looks like who's coming up the inside there? Anderson. Cat forced wide. Anderson goes through on the inside. Witten there looking like he might hang on. Will Gourlay, he's going defensive. I might duck up and see this finish though. As we see Gorkrocher take a famous victory from Edwards in P2. O'Fray about to cross the line in 3rd after that slowdown. Witten hanging on from Anderson. Cat Gourlay dropping like a stone with a rather second-hand looking Skippy. Let's go.
There's a little bit of side-by-side contact coming into the club section there, Alex.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can get the instant replay up to see what happened there. As they're coming down, this is about where we left them actually, and he's gone to the outside. Witten defending into that final chicane. Bit of net code there, pushes him wide and breaks both the suspensions on the left hand side of his car. Looked like a fairly solid net code. Witten drives away from it, and Gourlay will struggle real hard to turn that car from there. He does he manage to limp home? Oh, look at Vascalampi and Devantier looking to round out the race in style. It was Devantier who got the better of that one. But no, that's how... Tell you what, 2 weeks in a row, Gourlay not had much luck with netcode Corey, as it's cost him pretty dearly in the end here tonight.
Indeed it did, Alex, but these guys put on a fantastic performance here today. All the drivers should actually be very proud of the way that they've driven the entire season. It's been a non-stop action season the whole way through, and it's been a very joyful experience to be sitting here in the booth with you, calling it all out for everyone to see.
Absolutely. Let's go through our final results for the final round of season 18 of the Sunday Night Lights. Round 12 here at Silverstone, of course. Tim Gorkrotch, Top Split Racing, taking the number one step on the dice, kept his cool throughout, avoided the deadly slowdowns, and then hung on at the end from UK&I's Simon Edwards, who finished in P2 tonight. P3 went to Redface Racing's Julian O'Fray. P4, Luke Whitten hung on in amongst a slowdown, as did O'Fray, and an intense battle to close it out. One that I'm sure he was not expecting for P4, more likely to try and get the win for Team Milo. But P5 tonight went to Lee Anderson from UK&I. His UK&I compatriot Anthony Catt in P6. The Cowboy, Sam Devantia from Team Mobile Team. No podium here tonight, down in P7 with a hard-fought battle with Finland's Timo Vaskalampi in P8. Sasha Gourlay after that closing stages incident for Redface Racing Team, finishing in P9. P10 tonight went to Korpo Vitanen from Finland. His debut tonight, finishing inside the top 10, but down 4 spots surprisingly. Dan Shearing in P11 here tonight. Samuel Collins from ANZ rounding out your top split or Sunday Night Lights points scoring positions. And the first page of results as we jump over the page now to P13, Victor Ossett, the lone Iberian in the field, finishing in 13th. P14 went to Giuseppe Tellini, the lone Italian in the field. Kevin Henderson with a mid-race incident by the sounds of what we saw in the chat tonight in P15, and his incident was with Breaking Bad Motorsports Christian Gabanka, who finished in P16. P17, the unluckiest man in the field tonight with a blown engine, and representing Team Milo was Mr. Ben Furhoff, who was right up there in with a shot. I mean, he qualified in P4 and was right in it up to his neck until the engine blew somewhat mysteriously. You'll have to have a word to the Team Milo mechanics. Strength of field here tonight, as we said, was 4,028. Simon Edwards with 24.5, 2 minute 24.5, outstanding lap time as well, Corey.
Indeed, that was Alex, and I was actually expecting to get a little bit lower than that. But as I said, maybe the early track temp being fairly low just maybe hindered that a little bit, not being able to get the tires up to temperature effectively. But all in all, a very enjoyable race, and especially with that little bit of drama there at the end with the slowdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly mixed things up, that's for sure. Now we have our race winner sitting in the broadcast green room, so we might bring him up and say g'day. Oh, indeed, Mr. Gorkrotcher.
Sorry for my excitement. I was talking to Julian.
No stress, mate. Listen, look, you guys seem to have it all under control up front there, swapping places, and then the slowdown seemed to bite pretty hard, and you were left almost on your own there. Edwards putting somewhat of a challenge up towards closing stages, but famous victory for ANZ's Tim Gorkrotcher, eh?
It's I'd like to think it's been a long time coming because it's been ages since I racked one up, and with the new skippy, it took me quite a while to become comfortable and feel like I can race up the front. So I felt I put it together pretty well the past few weeks, but just hadn't sort of capitalized on the opportunities. But tonight was good, and Julian and Simon had a really good pace, and Luke was hunting around, and I was sort of keen to see what he could do. I know he was feeling pretty comfortable, So no, it just worked out really nicely, and unlucky for Julian because I know we would have put up a ding-dong battle on the last lap. And I just had a 0.8 gap on Simon at the start of the lap and avoided draft where I had to, sort of thing. So it didn't, I didn't want him to pull in 3/10 through the lap when we hit that final sort of straight, and he'd be close enough to have a sniff to send it up the inside or whatever may happen. So, but no, really pleased for the win and a good haul of points. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a nice, fun battle out there in the different stages as well. What's your impression of the flat track and the early stages, the early running around here? She's pretty slippery in the opening laps, isn't it?
Yeah, like no other track on the service sort of thing. It's crazy slippery, and quali's particularly hard too. Like The prior race, I binned it on the outlap doing nothing silly, nothing advantageous or anything. Just it is so slippery. It just takes ages to come good. But in terms of racing, once you sort of get like it's a 12-lap race here, once you get to lap 5, it's it's quite good. The car feels good. But the challenging thing is through the fast chicanes later in the lap, or there's a number of different lines you can take, and mine was certainly different to Julian and Simon. So that was probably the only time I sort of felt myself, particularly early in the race, learning their lines, having to take a bit more caution. But otherwise, yeah, like I said, once you get to lap 5, it's pretty good, and then you can belt around as hard as you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everyone coming to grips with literally and figuratively with the grip around here. Of course, it's still a relatively new layout for us, having only been here for the one season before. Certainly, plenty to keep us interested in the seasons to come, as I'm sure we all get very familiar with it over the years. So, congratulations, Tim. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go, mate?
No, just you guys, of course, for putting the show on tonight. Just want to say, Les Peck, I hope your event last night went well. The bushfire appeal with entrance donating and so on and so forth. But yeah, week off now. Looking forward to that. Bit of an opportunity to try out some other cars and muck around like it doesn't sort of matter so much in the events that don't count towards IR. So looking forward to that. And the new Skippy, I think we're getting this week too.
Yeah, new model on the skips, new Lime Rock Park, of course. Oldest sort of content on the service, getting an update. So certainly something to look out for in week 13, and it'll be a bit of fun for all, no doubt. Well, thanks for joining us, Tim. Congrats, mate. Great win. Great to see you back out there fighting for the win and getting it here tonight.
No, thank you, and we'll catch us in a full couple of weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the way, mate.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
There you go, Corey. Tim Gorkross doing it for the ANZ Club, doing it for Top Split Racing, and taking out the victory here tonight. First one he's had in a while. Great to see him getting that little bit more comfortable in the car, wouldn't you say, Corey?
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And I was about to say, I think this is his first one for the season here for us here at Top Split. And, it's great to see him right at the pointy end of the field. He's always got pace. He's just always caught up in unfortunate circumstances as well. But this time he got the unfortunate circumstances happen to someone else and he was able to take the win. So, he's probably a little bit bitter actually that he didn't get to have that epic battle coming to the line because I know that he's very competitive and he loves to race, but he'll take that win regardless because it's a big win for him. And especially this season, getting to know the tyre model a little bit more.
Absolutely, mate. I'm sure he'd take the win and grin ear to ear all the way to the bank, irrespective. But yeah, great win for Tim, and hopefully many more to come. Now, next person in the booth tonight will be Mr. Julian O'Fray for Redface Racing Team. Julian,
Hello.
it looked like a slowdown cost you the opportunity to win tonight.
It is. It's sad because I really want this win or at least the second place to be sure to finish first at the championship. But no, this big slowdown. I can't do anything after this one. Impossible. It's a 3.2 second slowdown, so it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. The slowdowns here are infamous. They are tremendously long, and perhaps due for a bit of a review, but certainly a breakout season, a fantastic season for Redface Racing. Both you and Sasha Gourlay absolutely dominating the Skip Barber scene in official and Sunday Night Lights. You must be very happy with how the season went.
Yeah, sure. I really like this new model of Skippy, and I hope the next one will be better and better. And we had consistent result. We are not the fastest driver on the series, but we consistent and finish at least in the top 5. So this is why we are how to say good placement on the classement. Yeah, maybe you
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely. Consistency is the key to winning championships, being up the front and in contention, but most importantly, finishing the races ensures that you have an overall great result. And this season, you couldn't have done any better. So, fantastic work for you, Julian, and your teammate Sasha. We really do enjoy having you as part of this race each week, and congratulations on a fantastic season. Anyone you'd like to shout out or say thank you to while we have you here?
Yeah, sure. I want to thank you for all stream you done to um, all this week, all this season, all the week. This was a great job, and I really like to watch it after race. It's really great. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Julian. Thank you once again for joining us throughout the season. We've really enjoyed having you here, you and your red face teammate Sasha Gourlay. Congratulations on a fantastic season, and hopefully we'll see you back bigger and better in the coming seasons going forward in the new year. So have a good break, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
There you go, Corey. I'm pretty sure Julian, between him and Sash Gourlay, they've locked up the official season points between them. I might have a squiz in a second if I can. I know it was down to a point between them for the Sunday Night Lights season, and they've really just done everything you can do in a Skip Barber this season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be very hard pressed to find anyone who is not Julien Alfray or Sasha Gourlay at the top of the overall standings. And congratulations to both of them, honestly, because they have just been putting on an absolute clinic this entire season. It has been fantastic to see such dominance. And if we even had a team's title, they would have wrapped that up quite early on in the season too, which just makes their achievements this entire season just that much better because they have been working so effectively as a team to get their results that, you know, it's going to be very hard to beat them in the upcoming seasons unless everyone picks their skills up a notch.
Yeah, well, just looking at the official season points, it was those two up top. Frey with about a 17-point lead over his teammate in Sasha Gourlay. Sasha not having the best results tonight, so drop rounds notwithstanding, I'd say that Frey's probably got the chocolates. Interestingly, Edwards, who was here tonight and finished second, he managed to grab third, just ahead of Sights, and I'd suggest that tonight's tally wouldn't have hurt his points either. So congratulations to all three of O'Fray, Gourlay, and Edwards, all here tonight, and taking out the drivers' championship in the Skip Barber category for season 4, 2019. Corey, what a season it was! That will just about do us here tonight, folks. Corey, you got some stuff coming up you'd like to tell the folks at home about?
Yeah, I do, Alex. Next week, guys, just an hour before this time slot, actually, I'll be participating in a sprint car Grand Classic race over on my channel, twitch.tv/Corey Has No Life 13. I encourage everyone to come and check it out because I'll also be doing a little bit of a charity stream uh, last week on Saturday. Unfortunately, my partner's sister-in-law passed away due to a very aggressive breast cancer, and the funeral was on Tuesday, which actually coincided with my birthday. So I've got a special sprint car livery that I had made up just for this race, and all the money that I make through donations in that stream, I will be giving to my partner's brother, who is a cancer survivor himself, being a above knee amputee, just to try and help make Christmas a little bit easier for him and their two children. Um, So yeah, not the best of circumstances, but we're trying to make something really good out of it, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So people can find more information about that where, Corey?
It's in quite a few Discords at the moment, but the two main ones is you can find it in the Top Split Discord. Link is on the screen now and in the description. You can also find it in my Discord. If you need the link to that, just go over to my channel and there is a Discord link down below. And you can also get a little bit of extra information from it out of the Facebook page for Speedway Memes, facebook.com/Speedway Memes 69. And also, I'm going to Speedway on Saturday nights, the John Day Classic, the highest paid midget race in the world. So that'll be a good one to check out. Lots of internationals coming to town for that one, Alex.
Yeah, nice one. All right, folks. So if you want to get on board, make a family's Christmas a little bit better under tragic circumstances. Thinking of those two little kids in particular, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. So head over to Corey's channel there. Corey has no life 13 at the bottom of the screen at the moment, or check out our Discord server. All the details are in there. But otherwise, folks, all the places you can see the Top Split, all things Top Split, are on your screen at the moment. This race will be uploaded to YouTube at the Top Split YouTube channel, of course. But going forward, thank you everyone for your ongoing support for the season, for the broadcasts, and the racing itself. It's been fantastic to be able to provide the ANZ Club with a good platform for the local guys to put on a show like they did here tonight. Certainly fantastic to see in such a strong field that we were still able to put it up and duke it out with the best in the world, as we saw. So congratulations to all the drivers involved, everyone for joining us in chat. We really do appreciate it. This rounds out season 18. The Top Split coverage will be taking a bit of a break over Christmas. We will be back at some stage in the new year, potentially mid-season. So don't expect a full season, guys. We've done a pretty good 2-year run at this stage, and we're looking forward to having a little bit of a break over Christmas. But to you and yours, we wish you the same. I know it's only the 1st of December, but the Christmas lights are starting to go up. We do wish you a good break and a safe, happy, festive season as well. But for now, folks, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and on behalf of the chaotic one, Corey Steinhauser, ciao for now.